Hi guys, I am back in this lovely Houston weather here. I've been stuck in traffic for about an hour and a half for a 25-mile drive because it's raining. And although it rains all the time here, people forget how to drive in the rain in Houston somehow. So I wanted to hop on here and do a quick video about something I've never heard discussed by any of the manifestation coaches, not even the female manifestation coaches. But women's hormones seriously impact their outlook. Like, I didn't know this was a real thing until, I'm getting older, and I noticed a pattern that for me, every month around the same time, I would start to feel like my entire world was falling apart, like fall into a deep, 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 deep depression. And I started to notice that it would only happen for a few days every month. And when I started researching what it could be, I realized that it had to do with my hormonal cycles and my age and a lot of other factors. And then I started to research how to correct it. And, of course, there are dietary changes that can be made. And there's all types of natural and chemical therapies to try and all these different things. But the truth is right now I can't do any of those things. Like, I haven't yet had a chance to go see a doctor about the issue. And even once I do, I understand that it's a long process to kind of figure it out. And so I wanted to talk to you guys about what I'm doing to kind of mitigate that, because it can seriously impact your ability not only to relate to other people in a positive way, but to keep your imagining positive, to really believe in the things that you're trying to bring into your life. Like, during these times, I'll have worked on all of these manifestations throughout the month, and then I get to this time period in the month, and I'm like, none of this is going to work. And so I'm sending out all of these low vibrational thoughts. And so this month I was really working on trying to mitigate that. And what worked for me, number one, is continuing to create. Especially as a woman, creating is where we find our energy. It's where we find our space. And so coming on here and just doing this video is raising my vibration. Like, I feel 1,000 times better than I did before I jumped on. Normally when I get into these moods every month, I'll stop creating. Like, I'll stop doing my podcast, and I'll just withdraw from life altogether because everybody's irritating me. I'm afraid of what I'm going to say. My mind is just not in a positive place. And so forcing myself to still get on here and do this video is one thing that's really helping, and I'm realizing that right now as I'm talking to you guys. Another thing is accepting my current state. And so that was something I struggled with because I was like, how can I accept all this negativity? Like, I literally want to curl up in a ball and not get up for as long as I can. Like, but comforting myself and kind of babying myself and showing myself love and tenderness, and even giving myself a break from all of this, these steps that I take to manifest, all of this pressure to create all these positive images, just shutting all of that off and just, caressing myself and letting myself have a piece of cake and just loving on myself like I'm a sick little baby is actually a wonderful opportunity to practice, self-love. And it kind of took away all the pressure that I was feeling to kind of force myself out of my moodiness. Another thing that I do is I just get really ridiculous with my imaginings, with my visualizations. So when I'm feeling great, the other 3 weeks out of the month, it's really easy for me to just have a good time and have fun with my visualizations. But when I get into these moods, I'm like, that is totally stupid. This stuff doesn't even work. Like, I just get really, really negative. And so I have to accept that that's the lens that I'm viewing the world through in that moment, and I have to call it ridiculous. So I heard a quote as I was listening to Neville's The Law and the Promise, and it said, the fool who persists in his foolishness becomes wise, meaning that if you stick to your visualization, if you don't doubt it, if you believe in your ability to create, then what you're creating will come to pass. And so I have to look at it as ridiculousness when I'm feeling like this. Like, I'm feeling like the world is falling apart, and how am I supposed to be positive? This is stupid. And I have to say, this is stupid as I go into the visualization. And I have to ask myself, okay, what would I be imagining if I was being ridiculously foolish right now? I have to call myself foolish before I move into the visualization, and then I can go into it just fine. I don't have any problems because I'm accepting that over here in the 3D I'm feeling awful, but in my imagination I'm just allowing myself to be a fool. I won't feel like a fool, next week, but I feel like a fool this week because of hormones. And I don't think we realize how much chemicals in our body really affect how we see things. And just understanding that is the first step to overcoming it because I'm in the midst of it right now. And I know that it's affecting me in a deep, deep way, and I'm taking steps to mitigate it, like I'm talking to you guys about right now. And anyone who's struggling with any kind of hormonal imbalance or chemical imbalance that's causing them to experience, a very negative outlook can use these techniques. It's not just for women, but I know like women are 50% more likely to be diagnosed with depression. And I think it's because they run up against it every month and they don't understand that it's part of their natural cycle. And so they go to the doctor and they're like, yeah, I've been experiencing these symptoms for years. I don't know what it is. But what the doctor may or may not know is that it's cyclical and it has to do with hormones. And nowadays you got to go to like 8 different specialists to get a complete look over.